Copper and I, this is truly partly Copper. Copper and I couldn't think of a better way. Yes, I gave you some points and a shout out there, Copper. We couldn't think of a better way to say goodbye with this season than to have an amazing guest on, someone you may be familiar with, someone whose energy is super bright and amazing and joyful and calming. Welcome back, Miss Katie Sass.
Hey!
Yay! Now we need the big cheer in the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could hear it silently.
I did too. I know, it was like almost a dud because when I really listened with my hearing ear, I'm like, well, this is weak. But inside my head, it's like, yeah, studio audience.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back here with you both.
We are so
old
excited.
times.
Yep, the OGs are back.
That's right.
It was actually just like old times too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
It was the embracing the technology stuff and then our long stories and chats before we record. It's been amazing.
Yes. And
yes.
Pepper's kind of referencing that we tried recording yesterday and just kept, on my part, hitting all of these blocks and, going with it, but then coming to the realization that yesterday was not the day to record. And I totally get that because I feel better today. I feel like my spirit feels better today. So, and my daughter's cat had gotten out yesterday morning and the cat's back and I don't have to worry. Not that I was worrying, but I don't have to, have that in my head at all. So, divine timing, baby.
It totally is. I think yesterday we would have forced it. Today is just so much better energy. We're laughing, we're happy. It's so different.
Yes.
We did our healing talks beforehand because that's what we do. We feel better and we let it out. So much we talk about and we torture Katie with.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
We'll keep that to ourselves. Well, Katie, I know we talked about this before. Do we want to go ahead and start this with a nice affirmation to kind of set the tone for today and for those listening to the podcast? Yes?
I am always going to say
You
yes.
Feel good, Katie?
Because I feel like affirmations it's just where it's at. It's like that talking prayer of what you want to call into your life and what energy you want to put out there. So I am always, always, always a fan of affirmations.
Amazing. So I wrote this affirmation. It went on my social media and I wrote this because this is truly what I needed that day. And then come to find out, as Katie and I had already linked this episode together and what we wanted to talk about from our own personal conversations, everything came together. It's like, holy cow, divine, all divinely led. So the affirmation is, today I release the worries of my struggles. Let go of fear and surrender control. I make space for a beautiful light energy to bring forth and create all that I aspire. And so it shall be.
I love that. I feel like people should take that affirmation and say it every morning for a month, at least a week. It's so good. It's so good.
I have said it since yesterday when I wrote it. I have probably said this to myself 5 or 6 times in these 2 days. I keep reminding myself and bringing myself back into that. So I'm in it too. We're in it too.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Katie, oh my goodness. Here is amazing thing that I realized. I did realize this when I was creating the outline for this episode. Katie, it has been almost exactly 1 year. Exactly 1 year when you departed the podcast. And you left us behind. Gosh. Oh.
Wow, the way you worded that was kind of brutal.
I'm totally kidding. No, when you spread your wings to fly and do what you felt drawn to. And I couldn't be more proud. But I think we would all love to hear, what have you been doing? What are these wings taking you to do?
Wow, I know. I just think about where I was last year at this time in this podcast and how much doing the podcast with you guys has just really helped me at a really heavy time and some things that I was going through. And I'm so grateful for where I am now in the shifts. And, you know, I will tell you where I'm at right now. And it's a lot better place. It's a lot lighter place because I've really just been practicing letting go and practicing being in the knowing that everything is going to be fine, that everything I want to create is going to happen in the most divine timing. So I just have been, like everybody else, getting those chances to just keep getting out of the way, getting out of the way, and yeah, and allowing what needs to come through. And a big part was with my kids and what they were experiencing at the time, and really understanding in a deeper way of like how much I was taking on their energy. You know, I it's just layers, you know. It's like I think that I don't take on their energy. You know, I know sometimes I do, but I'm getting so much better at it. And I am. And but then I get shown a whole other layer of like, wow, okay, I am really taking it on, and not just them, but others. But yeah, and I know you and I were kind of talking about this the other day about a tool. Well, you were sharing a tool with me that you had learned from someone, and it was so similar to something I've been practicing myself. Do you want to share that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so good.
Which one? I don't mean to like sound like that.
No,
Like,
no. It was, well, I know my version was when you, okay, like an example.
which,
Let's say somebody, say my kids get home from school, and I just catch a look on one of their faces
oh,
where they look tired or
mm-hmm,
exhausted. And then I start to, imagine how they're feeling. And I'm getting
mm-hmm.
better at this. I don't do this too much anymore because I use this tool. And when it does come up, it's just kind of like, okay, thank you for showing me where they're at and
Yes.
sending that
Yeah.
energy to the light. Because,
Yes.
I know, I remember how it feels to be at the end of the school year too. So we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
recently coming home, no AC in the school, and it's like 90 degrees, and
Oh,
just imagining how would I feel and remembering how I would feel in elementary school and how
right.
miserable it was with the teachers trying to use a fan that never worked, and yeah. So, anyways, just. Not going into how you think they're feeling, or because it's not my business.
Right. That's right. So we were talking about our sensitivities. So, and we had this conversation, and then we found that it was important to share it because, as we are empaths, and as empaths, we also draw to us other empaths and sensitive people, and how we get kind of surrounded by that. And when we are in a place for ourselves, because as an empath, we feel, we know, and we get really worried about people, we can feel their emotions. And then when we get to that place of understanding that the other people around us are going through things, and then we have this stress, and then we have this worry about them, and we're trying to help them because, again, we are natural healers. As an empath, we want to help, and we want to change things so everybody feels better, and so that we feel better too. So it's important that to understand and to recognize the power of your own energy, that when we are in that stress state, or we're in a worry state, these other sensitive people around us are feeling that, and it's feeding them that extra on top of what they're already going in. And there's something else that happens, that when they are feeding on that heavier energy, they're already feeling heavy, they're feeding this other heavier energy, that something happens, an automatic kick in where we go in defensive mode. And it's, for an example, let's say it's your children. It's like, Mom, I don't need to hear it. Mom, like, even though you're trying to be helpful and we are trying to make things better for them, they are feeling all of that other icky, yucky energy coming off of us. And it's like, that's enough. Stay out of my business. And then we get that really big. It can be your spouse, it can be a friend, it can be a coworker, whatever it is. But when they are sensitive, they're feeding off of yours. So the tip was, in order as a healer, to help others, is always to be aware and help yourself. When you can remind yourself and you can see someone else's, because this was a little tip that I had learned. I'm in my own little workshop and I'm learning from other beautiful light beings too. And it was a fantastic reminder that it is, when you see someone else going through this, it's, again, recognizing that energy and saying, thank you for showing me. This is in your head. Like, you're not saying it to the person. Just for those who need that clarification, you're thinking it. It's, thank you for showing me this energy. I'm going to send it to light. Because again, that's love. That's love energy. We're sending it there. And then we need to focus our energy on love, bringing ourselves into the higher vibrational feelings when we let go of that worry and our stress. And we bring that focus on ourselves and on everything else that we can control, that inner peace, just being in that place of love. I love this person. I love this family, or I love where I'm at. Now, all of a sudden, you are feeding those sensitive people the positive stuff. And then all of a sudden, instead of them, again, layering the heavy stuff and the thick stuff and going defensive mode, it's softening them naturally. Now you're feeding them that positive stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what you meant, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then, too, if you're not taking on their stuff and their worries and that energy's going back and forth, you're able to get yourself, well, the thing to do in that space to break it up is to just breathe into your heart. Like, take some steps back. I just, like, one of my quick things is to take the 3 breaths into your heart to get you back into that grounding space so you can let that go. And then, you don't always have to do this, but if you find yourself in a situation where it's a little bit heavier and you find yourself worrying about the situation, it's just your opportunity to get to create what you want the situation to be. And excuse me, for me, I just try to focus on seeing that person. And it's pretty much what you said, in the light,
Mm-hmm.
in love, and happy and
Mm-hmm.
joyful and having figured it out. And
Mm-hmm.
to stop um, those little paths that you go on of worry or fear or what if this happens? What if that happens? And just catch
Mm-hmm.
yourself, it's just about catching yourself quickly and like, nope, okay, letting it go, sending it to the
Right.
light. Yeah, yeah. But that's been a big one for me, a really big one. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful where I'm at. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still using it and I'm still, and will always be, I'm sure, learning and having these experiences to go through, which, you know, helps me to help others and how to get
Right.
through it.